here. And especially thanks to Coach Sims for reaching out to me and been excited about putting this thing together. Coach, you got it, man.
I appreciate you, Mario. Hope everybody's out there doing well and everybody's safe with their families. I appreciate Mario giving me this opportunity, the AFCA giving me this opportunity as well. What we're going to talk about today is we're just going to go into some everyday running back drills. Going to talk a little bit about philosophy in terms of running your room from a running back standpoint, running your drills in practice, and just some overall development. So like Mario said, any questions or anything that pops up throughout this, definitely at the end, I'm going to give time so you guys will be able to ask me questions, but definitely looking forward to it. So I'm going to jump right into this. And at the end, I'll give you my contact information as well. So if anybody wants to contact me about the PowerPoint or, the presentation, be more than happy to share that with you. And we'll go from there. Kind of our philosophy starting off in the running back room this is what we're based off of. It's three things every day. From the time that we're recruiting a young man to the time that he steps into our room is we want to win in everything. Everything counts in our room. From the way that we walk into the building every day, from the way that we exit the building every day, we want to win. We make it a competitive environment in terms of in the classroom, in terms of how are we learning schematically. For the guys that I make my guys get up on the board and we teach the teacher. Because I think the biggest deal that you have to do is you have to understand how your student athletes learn. So the biggest deal for me is teach the teacher. So we want to win in everything that we want to do. We want to be at your best at every opportunity. The number one deal is you'll never know when your number's going to get called. The old adage that I've been taught for a long time is you're one play away from being that guy. So the way that we approach this is from the way that you walk in the building, from the meeting to the time you walk on the practice field, you got to be at your best in every single opportunity. And then the last thing that comes along with that is never coming second to yourself. You always want to be the most dominant person, and the only person that you're competing against is that person in the mirror. So every single day, you want to make sure that you're number one and that you're never coming in second to yourself. Our philosophy, 100% ball obsession. You will not hear me say ball security a lot. I always talk about ball obsession because if you are obsessed with something, you have a tremendous passion for it. I'm obsessed with chicken and macaroni and cheese. So I'm obsessed with that. So I take tremendous pride in when I'm able to eat that I'm going to eat it perfectly. And I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. But the number one deal is we want to have 100% ball obsession, meaning mesh responsibilities with the quarterbacks. And you will hear us all the time say chin to football. That means high and tight. My wrist is above my elbow. We talk about that a lot. Protect the quarterback. Those that do will play. The number one deal for us is we have to be able to protect the quarterback from a pass protection standpoint. We have to be able to protect the quarterback when he becomes a runner as well. So you have to understand where your blitz keys are, who's coming, and you also have to do a phenomenal job of stepping up, winning the point of contact, which leads me into the third point, win the point of contact. Okay, that is a big, big key for the overall philosophy of our program is winning the point of contact. We want to be the most physical team when we step on the field. And as a running back group, we pride ourselves on being the most physical position on the team. So every single thing that we do, we want to play fast and we want to play physical. And then the last point of that is play fast and play confident. We want our guys to be out there and be able to go and not have to think a lot and have a lot of confidence, because when you got a lot of confidence in yourself, then that allows you to be able to play fast, be able to play loose, and you be able to be a playmaker. The number one deal from a running back standpoint is it's a very instinctual position. It's only so much training that you can do because a lot of what a running back is, he has a lot of God-given ability. So the thing is we just want to give him tools to add to the toolbox and allow him to go play free and play confident. The standard is the standard. It's the number one priority for our program, meaning the standard is set every single day that you walk in the building. We want to get 1% better at every single practice. Do not accept mediocrity. Push each other. Every single person in that room has to push each other. Every player that we recruit, we always tell them that every single year we're going to out-recruit you, because if we don't bring somebody in here to push you, you're never going to get better. You're always going to stay the same. So we always want to make sure that we get 1% better every day. Win in space is a huge, tremendous deal that we keep preaching on every day, meaning win at the second level on the linebackers, win at the third levels on the safeties and on the corners. Never be satisfied with a 10-yard run. I always tell my guys that good backs get what the offensive lineman block. The great ones go get past what the offensive lineman has blocked up for them. So, we always want to be tremendous finishers, meaning every single run that we have, we finish with a 10-yard burst. And that leads into the next deal. No negative plays. Don't make the same mistakes twice, whether it's missed blocks, lost yardage, fumbles, drop balls, or misreads. We never want to make the same mistake twice. And we want to be a smart player, be a student of the game. understand what your role is and understand what your job is and pay attention to the details. Those are the things that we harp on every day and develop a hard edge. We got a saying in our room, a savage mentality. That means that every single time that I step on the field, I'm the best player on the field no matter what, and I'm going to dominate for each play. If I mess up on that play, forget it. Go on to the next play. It's always play the next play and not worry about the last one. And the quote at the bottom, execution equals perfection. If you are not invested in it, you won't get a return on it. So every single thing that we do every day, we got to be invested in it so that we can get a return on it on game day. Here's a good illustration that I like to start off my meetings with my guys. Is a picture from the World Series a couple of years ago, paying attention to the details. You can see right here, it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of hoopla going on, but it's one deal over here in the corner. You see the umpire standing right here, and his eyes are locked in right here on home plate. So no matter what's going on around in the game, no matter how rowdy the fans are, no matter what's going on the playing field, our guys, we always talk about being locked in and being laser focused and doing your job and not worried about everything else that's going on outside of it. Getting into it, talking about fundamentals, here's a big deal. Ball obsession, okay? Chinning the football. What that means is I want to make sure that my wrist is above my elbow, okay? Anytime that the ball drops below my elbow, we're giving exposure to a defender, so we always want to make sure that my wrist is above my elbow and that my elbow is tight to my rib cage, and therefore you'll hear us talk about a lot, close the back door, okay? There is no space between the ball, okay, and it being away from your body. We want to keep the ball as close and tight to our body as possible as we can. And the number one deal is to make sure that we feel the ball close to our heart. And know when the wrist is above my elbow, it's a lot better chance that I'm going to possess this ball at the end of every single play. So we harp on this every day. Getting into our drills, ball security drills, what I do is I name all of my drills after NFL players as much as I can, and I got to update some of them now. So the number one drill that we start off every day with is Barry Sanders. And what Barry Sanders is, as we run through this, okay, is taking, if the ball's in my right hand or my left hand, if the ball is in my left hand like it is pictured here, you're going to see that his left leg is in the air as well. His right hand is down. I want to make sure that all 5 fingers are in the dirt, okay? This is the first day of spring practice. Last year when we first got here, you know, when you first start off doing this drill, it's going to look funny to you guys. But they got to continue to rep it, and the more that they rep it, the more that you're going to see them get better with it. The premise of this drill is I want them to get 3 pops in when I say go, raising their eyes to the sky, which is in turn going to cause their chest to raise up. So we want to make sure that we get 3 good pops in, raising their chest and their eyes to the sky. And then on a 3rd pop, I want them to come out running. Here's a good evaluation to kind of see who has good balance, okay? And the whole deal on this, too, is making sure that this ball is staying tight in my body. I don't want to open up that back door because a lot of times fumbles happen when we're trying to fight for extra yardage. We're going down on the ground. Somebody comes behind me and punches the ball out. So you always want to harp on keep my wrist above my elbow and keep that elbow tight to my body. So we'll start off with 3 pops going this way, and then we'll come back, opposite arm, going back through. You'll see right here, this guy does a tremendous job on this. Raises his chest and his eyes to the sky, and then comes out. Right here, here's another really good illustration of it. Khalil right here is doing a phenomenal job. Now, the negative part is there's too much exposure from the ball in his body. You want to make sure that that ball is staying tight to his body. Just give you a back end from how it looks in real time. Coming around the corner, gets knocked down, 1, 2, 3, and he raises his eyes to the sky, and his chest comes up as well, and he's still able to fight for extra yards. He does a tremendous job right here, making sure that all of those fingers are in the dirt, making sure that that ball is staying tight to my body, because you see that this defender right here is chasing him, trying to dislodge this ball away from his body. Here's another good look at it. Loses his balance right here, puts that hand down. The one negative, though, is this ball coming away from his body. You want to make sure that this ball stays tight to the body. That's the number one deal that you want to overemphasize, is keeping that ball tight to my body and making sure that my wrist is above my elbow. Hand comes down, eyes raise up, fighting for extra yardage. So that's the number one drill that we do every day to start off practice. Okay, that's my number one ball obsession drill that we do. And then we'll transition in what's called up and out. Up and out for us starts off teaching these guys how to get up off the ground with the ball staying tight to our body. You never want to see them get up and the ball comes away from my body. I want to make sure that this ball stays tight and that I get up and I come out running. The other deal is we want to try to make sure that they're not lumbering when they get up. You want to get up in a good athletic stance and burst out. Good athletic stance and burst out. Take it with you, okay? Take it with you is a drill that we work on in terms of being able to take the ball with you when you're making cuts. When you're making cuts in traffic, how that ball kind of swings away from your body at times. We want to make sure that this ball stays tight to my body as I'm making my cuts and that I'm going forward and going downhill. So what we'll do is I'll give two commands. I'll start off meaning ready, meaning get your feet hot. When they jump up, I want them to take that opposite hand and squeeze that wrist area, okay, reducing the surface area, just like we're going through the line of scrimmage, so that a defender cannot come through and rake the ball out. So I give them that, and then at the last command, I give them a pull out, meaning sprint straight to me, okay, making sure that ball is staying tight to my body. I got to take that ball with me as I sprint out. So we'll do this drill going opposite each hand as well. One time with my right hand, one time with my left hand. Here's a good look of it in the game. Making a sharp cut, taking that ball with me. My hips and my shoulders are coming downhill at the point of attack. And the ball stays tight to my body. Back end version. Ball's tight to my body as I'm making my cut coming downhill. Tight, right here, finishing it off. Making my cut, ball staying tight to my body, finishing off the run. Beast mode. Beast mode is my favorite drill because I get to train two things at one time, okay? I get to train leg drive, okay? And I get to teach them how to carry the ball in each hand. So what we do is we start off with a ball in our right hand and a ball in our left hand. So as their teammates, you got a guy on each side of them trying to strip the ball out. Another teammate is behind them, holding them back as they work on leg drive, okay? So what I'm working on, number one, I'm working on good ball security. My wrist is above my elbow. I'm chinning that ball. That ball is tight to my body. Number two, I'm working on good leg drive. So I give them two whistles. The first whistle gets them started. I want them to strip. At the second whistle, the guy in the back is going to let them go, and they're going to accelerate out. So you can see here how they're stripping at the ball, then lets him go. Here's a really good look. And they take pride in this too, of giving each other a hard time by holding them up, trying not to let them go. But you really want to strip, overemphasize stripping. Strip at the balls. Make sure those balls are trying to come out. And the ball carrier has to concentrate. The thing that you find out in this drill is a lot of guys are weak in one hand, opposite of the other. Okay, so you're giving them training on, all right, I got to get stronger in this hand compared to the one I'm really strong in. Here's a live game rep at it. Ball's tight. Accelerate my feet. You see his feet keep driving as he's making contact through the defender. Here's the other defender. So now it's just like it is with the balls. Okay, in practice, you got two defenders. Now he's still fighting and he's still driving. I think the number one deal in terms of we always harping on point of contact, but you have to drill this in your guys as well. Okay, and every drill that we do, it has to be a point of contact. Okay, it's got to be a physicality nature to it, and we always going to talk about ball obsession. He does a good job right here, making sure he's squeezing that ball, reducing the surface area so that they can't strip this ball out. And his helmet is going downhill in the direction of our end zone. That's another big emphasis that we always talk about. Your helmet finishing in the direction of the end zone that we're going to. Another good look. Beast mode. Driving, accelerate my feet on contact, squeezing that ball as I'm driving the defenders, making sure that it's tight to my body, and I'm not letting up. I'm accelerating my feet through the point of contact. Number one deal is I start with the ball and I finish with the ball. And I make sure that I hand the ball to the official once the play is over. You see this offhand as he comes through, gets right back tight once he feels this opposite defender coming close to him. And here's this leg drive. We preach leg drive, leg drive, leg drive. He has a defender wrapped around his waist, and he's still continuing to drive that guy. Fight for extra yards. Go get those dirty yards after contact. Another good look. Accelerating. Boom. Ball side. Still driving my feet. Still fighting. Here's a really good look. He's spinning out of this, but this ball does not come away from his body. He has the defender draped all over him trying to strip this ball out right here. Okay? So Darius is doing a tremendous job of continuing to keep his feet hot, continue to run. I would love to see him come out of this tackle right here, continue to drive those feet, drive those knees to my chest, and continue to push and fight forward. That's a good job having good ball obsession right here while he's doing beast mode. Guy trying to wrap him up top. He breaks this tackle. Just love to see him come out of this. It's the one deal. Accelerate his feet right here and come out of it. Would like to see this ball be a little bit more tight to the body, meaning close that elbow. Close the elbow. Close the back door. Make sure that elbow is tight to my rib cage. Give you one more look here. This is a tremendous job. Accelerating his feet on contact right here. Continue to fight and push. Fighting his way into the end zone. That's a really good job. Boom. 3-on-1. Fight how bad do you want it? We always talk about that. Don't let the first contact bring you down. Always fight to get in. Tremendous job. Adrian Peterson is a drill that we always talk about, and we always do because it shows up in every single game that we play in. So I kind of start off in two phases. The first phase is with hand shields, being able to split a defender. My favorite toy that I like to use now is the chutes, okay? Fortunate to have two chutes here. So the first progression of this drill starts off to where I want to put them underneath the chutes, all right? Put them in an uncomfortable situation because we treat this just like it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, and we got to get that 1 yard. So right here, what we want to do is we start off with he got his left leg up, his back leg is now caught behind him, and what I want him to do on the whistle is drive the leg that's behind him straight forward to get that momentum started, splitting these two defenders and accelerating through contact. The second phase of it is we'll now transition to the blasters, and we'll go through the blasters, giving them a little bit more resistance. You see that back leg drives forward. Back leg drives forward. You want to see him accelerate and come out. Break the tackles. Break the tackles. The other part that I've incorporated now as well is when they're coming here, splitting the two defenders, grabbing my wrist, okay? My wrist, which means the ball side arm, the arm is carrying the ball. I want to grab that wrist area just like I have a watch on to reduce that surface area so that ball is not being exposed, so that my shoulder pads are not covering up the ball. Now we transition to doing it here with the blaster, okay? As we go through with the blaster, I'm standing here, okay, to give them a direction. 9 times out of 10, I know a lot of guys, sometimes you only have 10 minutes of individual time that you're able to get to. So we try to combine a lot of different drills. So if we're going to do a ball obsession drill, combined with a pad level drill, combined with a change of direction drill, making the defender miss, we try to put all of those into one drill. So here, you know, we're going to work on ball obsession, keeping that ball high and tight. We're going to work on breaking tackles, good balls, pad level, okay? And then, all right, here I'm going to give them direction, which way to go. And the other deal, too, is once they make this cut, I always talk about stack the defender, okay? Just like receivers always talk about stack defenders when they're running routes, stack the defenders, making sure that my hips are stacking on top of his hips and exploding and getting vertical. Now, The third phase of it is putting the chute in here, okay? I'm big on hip flexibility, okay? Big on hip flexibility. So as they're coming through this time, I want them to sprint through, break these tackles, have good pad level, get here underneath this chute, stick at this cone, drive back through, and accelerate and finish at the opposite cone. Pad level, sinking my hips down, and I make it as hard as possible. I try to get this chute to be as low as it can just because I want them to really sink their hips. Open up your hips and drive. Hot does a good job right here. Sticking, turning, finishing. Hips and shoulders going downhill in the direction of the hole. You see right here, the ball does not come away from his body. Hot's doing a good job keeping that ball tight to his body. Here's a good look at it. Boom. Finishing, driving. You want to see him turn around quicker than this. Try to get his shoulder pads going in the direction of our end zone and finishing off this run. Boom. Low pad level, good ball obsession, coming out trying to spin, trying to fight for those extra yards. Now, the one negative is this ball is poking out at the back. Okay, ball's poking out at the back. Here's a really good look of winning at the point of contact. Young freshman back, sees his first big open crease in the game this past season. Now you're one-on-one with a defender. Accelerate through the point of contact, drop those shoulder pads and run through that defender, okay? Run through that defender. You want to make sure we're doing a good job of accelerating through, finishing the run, and running over that defender. And we preach on this a lot too. Make sure you're the first guy up. It sets the mentality for the offense, and it lets the defense know that no matter how hard you hit me, we're going to still keep coming. Boom. Good pad level. You like to see him shiver this guy right here in terms of rip this guy off of me right here. Give him a good forearm rip, then lift him up, get him up off of me. But he does a good job at the point of contact of running through this defender. All right. You'd love to see him try to come out this last tackle right here. Here's another good look at it. Finishing, winning on the point of contact. Pad level right here. Run through the defender. Break tackles and run through the defender. Keep the ball tight. Love to see him, Barry Sanders, at the end of that. Keep the ball tight and run behind your pads. Run behind your pads and finish off these defenders. He does a good job right here of lifting on the defender, okay? Does a good job of lifting on the defender, creating separation. Broke tackle, running through, keep fighting for the extra yards. I think it's a mentality that you have to set in your room every day in terms of, hey, we're going to have a savage mentality. We're always going to fight for the extra yards. We're not going to be satisfied with what's blocked up. We're always going to go get the extra yards instead of getting what's always blocked up. Here's a good job. Sees the hole, sees the lane, does a good job of pressing. Now, breaks one arm tackle here, okay? Second arm tackle here, create separation. Continue to fight. I want him to do a better job with this ball, or that ball is rocking too much. Rocking too much. And that's little things. It's always not going to look good the first time that you put things in. And it's never going to look good, especially with first-time players. You got to continue to harp on it, continue to keep preaching it, and then finally it'll start to click for them. Moving into footwork and agility, okay? Some drills that we do every day, bag drills. You know, number one, bag drills for us, we always want to try to incorporate two things in one. Right here, we're working on jump cuts and striders, working on eye discipline. As you're going to see as I get into this, I'm going to always be standing back here with a pop-up dummy, and I'm going to give them a change of direction, okay? I set 3 agile dummies up on each side of the pop-up, so whichever way I go opposite, that's the way they cut. So we'll start off and we'll do 1 foot through each hole. We'll go 2 feet through each hole. We'll go shuffle through, and then we'll also do hot potato, meaning 1 foot in each hole, and then stick and finish at the end. Working on eye discipline, okay? Picking my feet up, and then finishing off at the end. Now he's going 2 feet through each hole right here. And the number one deal is I want them to press as close to the bag as they can. Just like they run the inside zone or outside zone. Press as much to the line of scrimmage as you can, make your cut late, and then get through operating either 1 foot or 2 feet through each hole. Now he's going in and out. Make sure, same situation, you want to make sure keeping the ball high and tight as they're going through. Here's some clips of it in game live situation. Does a good job of pressing, changes directions, getting downhill. Press cut. Here's a good job. Just like we got the agile right here. It's a defender in his way, so now he has to jump cut, get through this hole, and continue to find the extra yardage. Striders are what we do every day, whether it's 1 foot through, 2 feet through, or we go sideways. Striders are what we do every day, and I kind of mix in a lot of different things. I'll be standing here with a punch stick trying to rip the ball out as they're going through. If we're pressed for time, what I have them do is go start at this cone, go 1 foot through each hole, stick and drive coming back, going 2 feet through each hole, and finish off at the end. Just depends on how much time you have in practice, how much you can get done in terms of in your individual time. A lot of times we have to steal time. So it's a lot of times we combine 2 drills into one so that we can get our work in during that day. Here's a little twist to it. I start them off going sideways. Okay, so they're going to go sideways facing me, get to this cone, stick. They turn and flip their hips and come back sideways this way, always facing me. Stick at this cone and then go 1 foot through and finish off at the last cone. Working on quick feet, working on being able to sink my hips to turn and get around. You would love to see Darius right here sink his hips, accelerate out, and come back through these bags. He does a better job right here, and you always want to harp on, make sure my hips and my shoulders are going in the direction of the point of contact, and I'm finishing off strong. Picking our feet up going through the bags. Love to see him stick, come back through. And the other deal is sometimes I may stand right here in front of him because you'll see hot right here. His eyes are in the dirt. I'll stand right here and force him. I'll hold up my hand. Tell me what number I'm holding up. Whether it's 4, whether it's 3, whether it's 5, 2, or 1. Tell me what number I'm holding up so that their eyes are staying up and not in the dirt.
You got about 2 minutes, Coach.
Okay. I'm going to go to one more drill that I love to do, especially teaching jump cuts. Here's my jump cut drill. It's a really, really good drill if you want to teach young guys how to jump cut. I set up cones here. Sometimes I try to put them between 2 and 3 yards apart. So what he's going to do is he's going to sprint to this cone right here, jump cut to the next cone. I want to stay underneath these cones, sprint to this cone, jump cut underneath this one, and finish here. Pushing off that outside leg, back on my inside leg. Quick feet, not staying in one spot too long. Here's a freshman, and you don't want these guys to cross their feet over behind themselves. You want to stay balanced up and stay square, just like I always harp on, just like you're doing a power clean, just like you're doing a squat, you're staying square, and you're never going to cross your feet up. Here's another look at it. The number one deal is Darius right here is a little top heavy. I want to see him sink his hips more, but he does a good job of finishing here. We do this going back both ways. And then I throw in my balance drill as well with it, combining 2 drills in one. Want to work on strengthening up those ankles, popping over the bags here. Just combining 2 in 1. Going with a 2-step, switching it up, 2-step jab here, just working on hot feet, being able to keep balance. Then I got my favorite toy, my punch stick, that I'm able to work with as well. Still working on ball obsession. Right here, you see this is a freshman meet. Crosses his feet up a little bit behind himself, want to stay balanced up, stay square, and accelerate through. Get to a game clip. Good jump cut right here. Gets himself back square. Holds close, finds it. It's a good run by Trace. Here's the last clip, and then we'll be good, Mario. Jump cut, finds open hole, gets vertical and skinny right now, fighting and breaking tackles. He does a tremendous job pressing the line of scrimmage right here, then jump cut and staying square, and then getting right back vertical. And I always tell him, scrape paint off the offensive lineman's butt right here. So he does a good job. I'm good on that, Mario.
Coach, that was let me say before I ask the questions, because you got about 7 or 8 questions here. Okay. That was phenomenal. How many and how you talked about you combined those drills together, just seeing footwork paired up with ball security or ball obsession, as you put it, man, that was good stuff to see. First question you got, what do you want to see in the first few clips of a running back recruit's highlights?
I want to see tackle breaking ability, number 1. I want to see him be able to break tackles. Number 2, I want to be able to see a guy, how many times does he hit the long runs? Does he hit long runs majority of the time in the game, or is it a one time every 3 clips of a highlight tape? And then the third part of it is I want to see how he does in terms of being a receiver out the backfield. Are they putting him out at receiver, or is he just being in the running back? How good is his hands? So I always want to see tackle breaking ability. You know, how many times does he hit the big play, and then what is his hands like?
Awesome. What is your philosophy on playing multiple backs? There was a time where one back got all the carries. Now it seems it's more of a running back by committee philosophy going on. How do you keep your number 2, number 3, and number 4 guy engaged?
I rotate every 2 series. So we've been fortunate in the past to always have 3 to 4 backs that are really good. Like our first year at JMU in 2016, I had a back that was really talented. So what we did is we rotated every 2 series. And then whoever got the hot hand, that's who we stayed with. But to keep them guys fresh, because I tell them we're not trying to win the game in the first and the second quarter. We're trying to win the game in the third and the fourth quarter. So we want you to be at your freshest when we're going into the fourth quarter. So we rotate every 2 series.
All right, next question is, how do you take advantage of your pre-practice and post-practice with your backs?
Pre-practice, we'll get out there a little bit early, and then it depends on how much individual time I have that day. So usually what we're going to do is we're going to work on our catching drills during pre-practice, our high ball, our low ball, and then our sideways catching drills. We'll get ball security in during that time as well. We may hit, if I only have 5 minutes of individual time that day, then I'm going to hit on ball security, ball obsession. Or it may be, hey, we got a new run scheme going in today. Let's work on start, and footwork, incorporating that run scheme.
Great. What questions do you ask your backs after a series? Assuming you aren't in the box on game days, Coach says he wants to ask his backs the right question, but he feels like he's always asking them just, what are you seeing out there?
You know, I always ask them, tell me what you're seeing. So let's see if it matches up, because when I'm standing on the sideline, I'm trying to play the game just like I'm playing running back. So I'm trying to see it through their eyes. So the number 1 question I say is, tell me what you see. And if it matches up to what I'm seeing, okay, I'll ask them, then why did you see this? Tell me what happened. what did your read key indicator do on this play? Or if they misread, I say, hey, what made you go here? This is what I saw. So I ask them, what did they see at first? And then I always ask them from a communication standpoint, did you hear the offensive lineman's calls? Because we try to teach our running backs, I know what the call is, so you can know and anticipate where this ball is getting ready to hit it. So I always ask them the second deal were the communication aspect. Did you hear what the offensive line were calling out? Did you make a good job pre-snap in terms of anticipating what the defense was going to do? And then did you see too much with your eyes?
Great. Next question is, what is your pregame routine with your backs when you have them for that, 7-8 minutes of individual time right there before the game starts?
Number one, we're going to do stance and start. Number two, we're going to do Barry Sanders drill. Number three, we're going to do beast mode. And then from there, we're going to do some form of blitz pickup, whether it's sparring against each other, just getting them the rapid fire punching, okay? And then we'll go from there, and then we'll work on just catching flare routes, check down routes, option routes out of the backfield. Just trying to hit a little bit of everything to get them warmed up.
Good. Next question was, what is your favorite run play and why?
My favorite run play, honestly, is inside zone because to me, it's a field play. I tell my guys all the time, when you get into a zone, it's like you're running blind out there. And I know inside zone, a lot of times it's designed to go front side A gap, but you never know where that ball is going to hit, whether it's front side A gap, backside A gap, or backside B gap. And sometimes it goes out the front door. But I think it's a nasty physical play, and we're a very physical team. So my favorite play is inside zone.
All right, cool, Coach. Well, I like to end these with a couple questions for myself here every time we had these. Now, you kind of graze on this, but I'm going to ask you to maybe get a little bit deeper, or you might have just told me everything. So I've watched you guys for the last couple of years, both at ECU and JMU, and I know that y'all put the ball in the air a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I coached running backs 1 year for a team, and we threw the ball. 70% of the time is not a stretch by any means, and so it was always interesting trying to make sure my backs were getting enough balls so they could catch all the different throws that they could get, like you mentioned earlier, but also, keeping the main thing, making sure they get the hill and all that stuff. How do you, I know you mentioned pre-practice. Are you taking advantage of catching the ball at any other times? And then also when those guys are dropping the balls, they got the 10 push-ups or they doing fingertip push-ups, all the receiver stuff you see coaches do.
So basically what we do is we do pre-practice. And then when we get with the quarterbacks and do our mesh point drill, once we get done with our footwork stuff, we'll get into, all right, quarterbacks, now let's catch a couple of balls. We always strip enough for us to be able to catch balls in that period as well, because I want them to see, especially if we're running the arrow route, that's a tougher catch for the back coming from the quarterback. So I always want them to be able to catch those balls from the quarterback. And then anytime we got a drop or a ball on the ground, what we do is after practice, I always keep track of those. So we're going to do man makers at the end, which means we're going to go up, down every 5 yards, down the football field, down and back, depending on how many times we put that ball on the ground or we drop the ball.
That's great stuff. All right, last question I got for you here is you mentioned, and this wasn't about your everyday drill, but you talked about putting those backs on the board. And my coach did that to me when I played running back in college. I did it when I coached the running backs. I didn't do it with my receivers as much, but I definitely did it with my backs, man. And it was always so beneficial because as a coach, I felt like I was always able to see what they really knew. You know what I'm saying? And what? Let me ask you, what kind of, what are you having them do up on the board? What are you expecting them to know? And are they supposed to know techniques? Gap responsibilities from the linebackers. What? Explain that a little bit more. What you're trying to accomplish with that?
So if we are in, it's kind of a twofold part for me. If we're going into spring practice, I first have them draw up because we're always going to start from the ground up. So we're going to talk about defensive fronts. We're going to talk about linebacker fits and structures. So if we're going into spring practice, I tell them, drop an over front, drop an under front. Tell me who is fitting what gap and what's the linebacker's responsibility and what's the defensive line responsibility. As we get along into the season and we start talking about schematic drills, especially in fall camp, I have them get up. I say, all right, here we go. We're running inside zone to the right. Draw that up versus a over front. Draw the scheme up for me. All right, tell me what the right tackle is doing. Tell me what the guard in the center is doing. Tell me what the backside guard and the backside tackle is doing. Tell me what the quarterback's footwork are, and now tell me what your responsibility is. Because I think the biggest deal, especially for college guys, everybody thinks that they're going to the NFL, and there's nothing wrong with it. So I want them to be able to understand when you get in that situation, you're probably going to have a coach ask you this. And I don't want you just to tell me what you're doing. I want you to tell me what everybody's doing. And at first time when they get up there and do it, they're intimidated and they're a little shy about it. But the more times that they do it, the better off they get, especially when they become seniors.
Absolutely, man. I strongly agree. And I said that was the last because I do have one more. This is something I struggled with when I was coaching backs as well. Anytime I had a back fumble the ball in the game, I struggled with what to do. I didn't have a strong philosophy in terms of, did he go in the next series? Did I bench him for a little bit? You know, what do you have a kind of a set thing that you do, or is it more of a feel thing?
Honestly, it depends on who the player is. If it is my thoroughbred, I'm putting him right back in there because I know he takes pride in that, and I know that hurts him. We had a situation that happened to us in 2017 with our starting back. He fumbled the ball. I put him right back in the next drive, and I told the coach, give him the ball every single time. And we did, and he ended up scoring the game-winning touchdown. So it depends on the player. Now, if it's a guy that's not been doing as well, he's going to sit his butt on the sideline. If it's a thoroughbred, I'm going to put him right back in and tell him, go eat. Just wipe it off, play the next play, and let's go eat.
Coach, well, definitely appreciate everything you do for us here at the AFCA, and definitely wish you guys the best of luck here. And hopefully we can get this season rolling on time and all that kind of stuff, and wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, man.
Appreciate you, Coach. And y'all take care. Hope everybody stays safe and healthy.
All right, man.